Hello, and welcome to my command tutorial video. I'll be discussing the basics that you'll need to know to be a decent squad leader, with these lessons being applicable to the field commander role as well. First, we'll go over the basic skills that the SL has. This is important because sometimes as command, you will have to pick up the slack for other members of your team, as you won't always have the luxury of a full roster of support roles such as corpsmen and or engineers. The SL comes with a few notable skills. He has the engineer skills here. He has leadership 3, which all SLs have. He has medical 1, and he has CQC 1. The SL has NG skills that's comparable to a combat NG, hence they repair and build structures just as fast as them, so you're able to do their job if there are few or no NGs available. Medical 1 is there so you can scan and splint both yourself and others faster than normal Marines, but you are still much slower than a corpsman. This makes you a mini medic on the field. Lastly, CQC1 is a rare skill. It is rarely used except to disarm people, which makes them fall to the ground if you get a lucky RNG roll. But this is sometimes important when you're trying to make people pay attention during a heavy firefight when people don't read their screens. CQC skill makes this RNG roll much faster to get. So this used to be a skill that MPs had, but MPs have been removed from TGMC because they're pretty useless, to be honest. Anyways, secondly, we're going to go over the loadout of the SL and specifically the important ones that they use all the time. First of all, every SL gets a few items free that is different from normal Marines. For example, the SL gets the M11 pattern leader helmet. If you look at the relevant information, it is one of the highest melee damage protection in the game. For example, the B18 or the B17 armor set that both require requisitions and a lot of points for them give comparably the same amount of melee armor protection, and SLs get this for free. So it's always good to wear this, even if it doesn't look the most stylish with whatever armor set you have, as head injuries are one of the most annoying things in TGMC to deal with. Secondly, the SL always gets 2 squad supply beacons for free, 1 orbital beacon, and he also gets tactical binoculars and a pool pinpointer, along with a tactical sensor, plastic explosives, and their own version of their HUD tablet. When you use this, it allows you to see the screens of only your squad members. So you can see, I can see this. Now for an SL, the most important tools that they have access to are the tactical binoculars, pool pinpointer, squad supply beacon, tactical sensors. These 4 items are some of the most important items an SL needs to have. Firstly, the pool pinpointer, especially in the distress signal game mode, allows you to see where the pools are. See, right now it says no traceable signals because we're in the extended game mode, but in hunt and in distress, you're able to see the locations of silos, and it will pinpoint you directly towards where the silos are. This will allow you to end the game in distress, because if all pools are dead, after 5 minutes the hive degenerates, which means you win the game. Now, the second item that's most important is the tactical binoculars. The tactical binoculars allow you to see ahead of you by about 2 screens width. Now, this by itself is important, but these have inbuilt night vision goggles, which means you can see dark tiles This is very important because information is key to commanding. So being able to see where your men are in relation to the xenomorphs, and whether you have xenomorphs behind you or in a flank from somewhere, could become the difference between defeat or victory. On top of that, there are a couple modes that are accessible to the tactical binoculars. See, we are currently in cast marking mode, which allows you to call in close air support. You can also call in a railgun, which comes for free, and it's fired every I believe 5 minutes, which allows you to fire a row of rails that clear up weeds, turrets if there are any made by Xenos, and also slowly does damage to resin walls, resin membranes, things like that. Now, the third one that's most important is a squad supply beacon. Squad supply beacon allows you to have things sent to you by requisitions, such as special weapons, such as Sadar, B-18 armor sets, ammo, and medical supplies, as well as engineering materials, which are crucial to be able to push into enemy territory, have it secured, and have Marines be able to actually kill anything, because without ammo you're screwed. Lastly, the tactical sensors are another important item that only SLs and requisitions are able to purchase, and as well as other roles start with them, such as the FC, which is the field commander. The use of this is to check for enemy movement. For example, you can check for friendly detection, which for now it's active by detail, which shows you the location of other Marines. Revivable, which means if somebody dies nearby you and they're revivable, the technical sensors tell you their location if they're near you by having a small beep noise and a location dot. And unrevivable, so if somebody dies and they aren't revivable near you, you can find them as well. Usually you want to turn off unrevivable and friendly. That's mostly because you can find the location of your friendly Marines as a squad leader by clicking on the minimap, and it'll show you. And this will allow you to see revivables with these settings on long range, and also see enemies by default, as they'll show up as red dots. Lastly, we're going to go over some techniques that you as a SL should be familiar with in order to be very good at understanding how to command. First of all, you're going to need to be able to actually know how to get your men to listen to you. Since most people don't actually look at their chat screen here and actually listen to it, even with your big voice, there's a few things I've found that are effective in getting people to listen. Usually Marines are visual and auditory in nature, which means they react to being grabbed. They react to noises such as a whistle that you spawn with when you actually get your gear, or they respond to when you point. As an SL, you have a different timer on your pointing, which means you can do it rapidly. You can do this by holding shift and then pressing your middle mouse button, and it's also a different color, so Marines know that this is a pointer by a command role, because only ASLs, SLs, FC, Captain, and SOs, basically all command roles have this green pointer, and also have the same cooldown for the point skill. These are the main techniques you can use in order to get your Marines to actually listen to what you're saying, because not everybody is at fault when it comes to not listening to orders. Sometimes, say you are fighting someone and you're really paying attention to fighting them like this, you're not paying attention to your screen here, you're paying attention to trying to hit them, because in a real fight they'll try and fight back, which means you need to dodge, you need to be able to point blank sometimes if you're using a shotgun. So you're not really looking at your screen, because if you look away for 1 second, you might die. That's why you have to be able to grab Marines. You need to point at them sometimes, use your whistle. Sometimes you even need to disarm them a few times to make them realize, because a lot of the time if you disarm somebody, they're going to start saying, "What the hell?" And they'll stop for a second to see why you're disarming them, even if just to call you an asshole. And then they'll realize you're telling them an order, and then they'll consider following it. Anyways, this is the basics of command, and maybe in another tutorial I'll go over some other things such as situational awareness, but this has already been a quite long video. Thank you for watching.